meant a lot to her. She interned back in the day under Dan Rather, which was a cool honor for us and our community. You know, the whole thing. She was like legendary. That me bumping into her, you know, fortuitously is just like, I mean, she was like the one. She was the catch. Chip Gaines built a $50 million empire with Joanna. But something happened in early 2025 that changed everything. Joanna's latest magazine essay hinted at struggles nobody saw coming. She wrote about drowning, about chaos behind the perfect image. Now sources close to the family say Chip is preparing for life without his partner. The man who once said money is boring suddenly faces losing something money can't fix. Chip Gaines was born on November 14, 1974 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But even before he could walk, stability was a foreign concept. His family moved constantly, not just across town, but across states. Every time he started to settle in, they packed up and left again. New schools, new homes, new faces. He never had the chance to stay long enough to belong. But instead of breaking him, it toughened him. By the time he was a teenager, Chip had learned how to adjust, how to survive, how to keep moving forward even when everything around him kept shifting. That skill, adaptability, would later become his greatest asset. As a kid, Chip had one dream that never changed. Baseball. He poured everything into it. He had the talent, the drive, the fire. Baylor University scouted him. And just like that, he transferred with the hope of going pro. But then it all collapsed. The coach who recruited him retired. The new one cut him. Just like that. Years of work disappeared. Chip spiraled into depression. The dream was dead. But in that wreckage, something else started to form. He could have quit. Instead, he pivoted. He turned all that energy into something new. That heartbreak on the field gave birth to a different kind of ambition, one that couldn't be benched. While most students were barely keeping up with lectures, Chip couldn't sit still. At Baylor, he ran business after business. One was a laundry service called Green and Gold. Another was a fireworks stand. Then he started landscaping around Waco. These weren't just little experiments. He went Allen. He was learning how to deal with customers, manage money, juggle stress, and sell a service, all while still attending classes. He wasn't following a textbook. He was writing his own. It didn't matter how small the job was. Chip treated everything like it was a million-dollar company. That hunger never left him. Then came the $30,000 flip. That changed everything. He was still in college when he bought his first house. His parents helped him secure the deal, and Chip dove in head first. He didn't just hire people. He did the work himself. He stayed up late, painted walls, fixed floors, learned how to spot value where others saw junk. When he finally sold the house, it wasn't just for a profit. It was proof that he had an eye, that he could build something from nothing. That small deals could lead to a big future. That one flip lit the fire. Even with all the chaos, running businesses, managing real estate, Chip didn't let school slide. In 1998, he graduated with a degree in business from Baylor's Hancomer School of Business. Balancing all those responsibilities wasn't easy, but he made it work. What he learned in class gave structure to what he was already doing on instinct. He could now speak the language of spreadsheets, margins, and strategy. It wasn't theory anymore. It was practice meeting, education, and it set the stage for everything he'd later build with Joanna. But long before HGTV, there was Amy. Chip dated her for over 2 years during college. He admits he was immature. She was patient, he says. She stuck with him through all his flaws. At the time, he didn't realize how much she meant to him. He thought he had time. He thought she'd always be there. He thought wrong. Years later, he would write that he had been hell-bent on marrying her. But by then, the damage had already been done. Everything came crashing down in London. Amy had moved there for work. Chip flew out to visit. They walked along the Thames River. She asked him the question she had likely been holding in for months. What are we doing? He shrugged it off. Told her he'd never really thought about it. That moment hit her like a punch. She needed clarity. He gave her silence. And that silence ended them. On the flight back, something snapped in Chip's mind. He finally realized he wanted her, but it was too late. The moment he'd been indifferent, she had already begun to let go. Back home, he couldn't let it go. He asked her parents for permission to propose. They said no. He kept pushing. It wasn't romance anymore. It was obsession. Amy's friends started getting worried. Her family got uncomfortable. But Chip kept going. He thought grand gestures would fix everything. That love was enough to erase all the pain. It wasn't. And things only got worse. The breaking point came with what people now call the Midnight Tombstone Incident. Chip showed up at Amy's apartment in Texas and built a stone retaining wall outside at night. He left a note. He thought it was romantic. Her roommates thought it was a threat. The structure looked like a grave marker. They called the police. It scared them, and it scared Amy. This wasn't sweet anymore. It was disturbing. Then Amy's father stepped in. He wrote Chip a letter. It was kind but firm. He told Chip he needed to stop. That this wasn't how love worked. That he had crossed the line. For the first time, Chip listened. He respected the man. And the letter hit him like a final blow of truth. He realized he'd taken things too far. That he had become the very thing he never wanted to be. Someone who caused harm instead of healing. Then came Joanna. Chip Gaines didn't fall in love the usual way. It didn't start with a date or a conversation or even a glance across the room. It started with a photo on the wall of a tire shop in Waco, Texas. The year was 2001. He was waiting for his car when his eyes landed on a picture, a family photo. One face stood out. It was Joanna. She was still a college student back then, but something about her image struck Chip hard. He later called it love at first sight, even though he hadn't actually met her. Most people would have shrugged and left it at that. Not Chip. He asked around, found out her name, and made it his mission to meet her. What he didn't know then was that the tire shop belonged to Joanna's father. That photo wasn't just decoration. It was fate, nailed to a wall, and it led to one of the most successful partnerships in modern TV history.